It's good to be back. Welcome everyone to Launch Week. I really can't begin to tell you just how amazing it feels to be here with you again to kick off the 2022-2023 students year with you today. And wherever it is you are right now, if you're hyped to be here, let me hear you make some noise. Woo! Yeah, so excited. Woo! Hey, I want to welcome a special group of people right now because a lot of you have been rolling with us for a while, and some of you are newer to PCC students, but you're old enough to have been a part of it if you had known about it earlier. But there's only one group for which this is their very first opportunity to be here, and that is our sixth graders. If you're in 7th through 12th grade, can you join me in giving our sixth graders a warm, loud welcome right now? Woo! Welcome, y'all. We're so glad that you're here. And it's on the heels of that welcome that I probably should introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me or I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Elijah Shirelli. I'm the student director here at PCC, which really just means that I oversee the direction of student activity at all of our campuses. Each campus has what we call a student coordinator, who I hope you've met by now, and they are the folks who will be leading you in person each and every week, in addition to your amazing small group leaders. Now, if I just lost you with all that, don't worry. It'll make sense. It's really not that complicated after like 2 weeks of being here. So it's all good. In the meantime, ask an older student who's been coming around a while, and they can probably clear it up for you. That idea is actually a pretty good segue into what we're going to talk about tonight, because think about it. How many places in your life can you go where you get to hang out with or be close to other students who aren't in your grade? At school, you're almost always in classes with people the same age as you. And I guess if you play sports or some other after-school activity or club, you can interact with students not in your grade. But even then, it's pretty limited. Like, it's extremely rare that there are any juniors and seniors on the JV team, and not many freshmen are making varsity. But here, our ages range from like 11 to 18 in our grades 6 through 12, which is insanely cool. And it's great because coming to students at PCC gives you such a unique opportunity to make friends and grow closer to people you might not otherwise have had the chance to. But there's more to it here. Yeah, it is cool to make friends, but it's the why behind making friends at PCC students that matters the most. Like, there's a specific reason why we feel like forming new relationships is important around here. And I'll tell you what that is in just a moment. But I have to let you in on a little secret if you're going to understand it fully. So I gotta tell you something. It's kind of personal. So come in a little closer. I don't want to say it loudly because the secret is just for us, okay? Can you hear me? You ready? All right, here it is. We love Jesus. Yes, we love Jesus so much around here. And it's the reason we do everything that we do. Small group nights like tonight, giant group games at small group nights, spring retreats, mission trips, bowling, movie, pizza parties, any sort of party, whatever party you can imagine, all of it comes from our deep love of Jesus Christ and an ever-growing sense of gratitude for the things he has done and he's still doing. We want every single one of you and every single student who's not here the opportunity to experience what knowing and following Jesus feels like. So we do whatever it takes for you just to have the chance to meet him. And as people who have followed Jesus for a while now, me and your adult leaders know that when we try to go at it alone, it rarely works. When we try to follow Jesus' amazing plans for our lives by ourselves, it's almost always harder, and it is so much less fun. I mean, Jesus had 12 people he hung out with all the time, and he is God. So if he needed a group of people, if he wanted a group of people, we ought to as well. We need it. And that's the why. That's the why behind making friends here at PCC. It's because learning to love and follow Jesus daily and do it well requires that you have people around you who can encourage, support, challenge, and rally around you during your journey. On top of that, making sure that these people are consistently in your lives is going to make all the difference for you and for them. And it can be hard, right? I mean, as you enter middle school and high school, or you find yourself on the way out of either of those this year, so many things want your attention. Most of you are involved in some sort of after-school activity, right? I mean, yeah, raise your hand right wherever you are right now if at least once or twice a week after the school day, you have somewhere to be, like sports, band, clubs, tutoring, work, etc. Come on, raise your hand. Yeah, it's most of us, right? And that's great. Like, those are great things. You should be involved in stuff like that. But the more things you do, the less time you have, naturally. And if we're being 100% honest, like we do that around here, authenticity, church is one of the first things to fall off for you, isn't it? I mean, it's okay. There's no judgment here. Seriously, there's no judgment here. And you're certainly not the first person that this has been true for either. In fact, even in Jesus' day or soon after that, the earliest churchgoers would often let their schedules fill up and not make it to what they called church, the weekly gathering. But the writer of Hebrews in the Bible clues us in on why we need to make consistently coming to church a priority. Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. See, the early church used their time together to, motivate one another to acts of love and good works. Meaning they would often share ideas about how they could help others in their community, be kind and respectful to one another, especially those that no one else was being kind and respectful to, and more stuff like that. They'd share stories about how they had seen God moving in their lives, in the lives of others around them. And on top of that, they would encourage one another. And it helps to understand, particularly for this encouragement piece here, that these people were often made fun of, which was probably the lighter version, ridiculed, persecuted, and sometimes, and I'm not making this up, even murdered, simply because they followed Jesus' teachings. So they really needed the encouragement to press on and do what Jesus commanded them to do, to love God and to love their neighbors. Now, fortunately, we're not in danger of most of those things today, but we still need encouragement all the same. I mean, without it, the craziness and the instability of our world will chip away at us, potentially dragging us down into toxic thoughts or destructive habits or a loss of joy, a loss of a love of life, all of that. So to sum it up, we need each other. You need the people in this room. You need them to pick you up when you fall down, and they need you for the same thing. You need them to celebrate with you when you feel God moving in your life, and they need you for the same thing. You need them to keep you accountable when you make a mistake or make a poor decision, and they need you for the same thing. See, Jesus designed us to develop and maintain deep friendships with other people who are also following Jesus, to do all of that and more. I can't tell you just how excited I am for this year, because like a lot of you here, the past couple haven't exactly been the greatest for me. And honestly, until recently, everything has still felt like it has an asterisk beside it. Like there was still a chance things would get canceled for one reason or another, whether it be COVID or political tension or whatever else you can throw in there that's happened over the past couple of years. But even though those things still exist, this year, it feels like it's the first fully open, fully back to normal year we've had since March of 2020. And like to say I'm ready for that is like the understatement of a lifetime. And I know you're there too. More than anything though, the reason I'm excited about this school year, this PCC students year, is I know that God is ready to do something absolutely amazing, absolutely incredible things in your life in the 2022-2023 year. I know God wants you to fall in love with him and to show you just how much he loves you already. I can sense that God is going to change the lives of some of you in this room right now, so long as you'll accept his invitation to follow. And along the way, I feel confident that some of you will find your deepest friends this year, your closest friendships, friends that will stick with you for the rest of your life, through the ups and the downs, through thick and thin, the worst parts and the best parts of your life. Why? Because you invested the time in doing the same for them. All of this and so much more can begin right here, right now. So are you ready? Let's do this.